Hey guys, today I'm going to go over Cyclone Register, and I'm going to go over really briefly about how things are set up, and then I'm going to walk through registering a quick little project. So I have Cyclone up here, and then I have a folder of a couple BLK scans around the house. So I haven't even set up a database for this project yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. I'm going to call this Wilson Home, and then now that's set up, and then these are BLK files, but I'm not going to use the BLK tool. This is only for if you're pulling scans directly from the scanner, and I don't have the scanner right now. I just have the files. So what I'm going to do is say import, and then I'm going to find these files here. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to say open, and then here are my import settings. So I don't have any targets in here, so I don't need to do this. I could do auto align scans, but I'm going to show you how to do that after import. So if you want to just let it import and try to fit everything together, you can go ahead and check this box. I'm going to generate scan thumbnails. That's you'll see what that's for later. Mapping colors. This is something you can do during import or after the fact as well. I'm going to do it on import just for convenience. I'm not modeling any pipes, so I don't need to do anything like that. I am going to have to check apply all because I'm importing several different files. So if this is technically only for the first file, so if I click OK, it's going to bring me right back into another one. So I need to actually click apply all when I'm doing this. And then I'll click OK, and then it's going to start importing my scans. Alright, so that just finished up, and it's now imported all my scans into a project folder with the BLK's information. So I'll briefly run through how things are set up in Cyclone Register. There's usually a project folder, and then all of your scans are in that folder. The first level is called a scan world, and then if you right click on it, you can open up the true space, and this is going to be you're locked to the position of the scanner. So you'll see all the points, but you can't move out of the position of the scanner, so you can only look around like this. In any case, you can always toggle between the colors from the scanner, the intensity from the laser, or grayscale. If you open up, if you expand this, then you'll see below that you'll have the control space, and then this is going to be the space where you have everything that's going to be used in a registration. So it's going to have your point cloud. It's going to have all your targets, your vertexes, and all of that will be used when you create a registration. Below that you have your different model spaces, and if you open up a model space view, this you can see in 3D, so you won't be locked to the scanner's position. You can zoom around, you can change this to the colors from the scanner. And then this is where you can do your cleaning if you need to. I'm not going to go over how to do this, but if I wanted to clean this out, I could clean it in this view. Below that you have your scans, and these there will be for BLK data, there will just be a single scan here. Same thing, but you aren't able to edit this. This is going to always stay as your unedited raw data. Below that you'll have your images. and then I can see that I can open this, and then you're just viewing the images from the BLK or the scanner. This is the images that are being pasted onto the cloud, which is what colorizes the point cloud. This was a scan that I took before the thermal camera was activated. So if you were to take a scan now and import it, you would see a second folder here under images, and that would be the infrared camera. So you'd be able to open that up and see the infrared information. So all right, that's how things are set up. I can see I have a couple scans here, and I'm going to show you how to register these scans together. So these scans kind of went around the house. So what I'm going to do is create a registration, and typically I do this at the project level. So I'll highlight this, and then you can click this Create Registration. It's a little target button at the top here. It'll create a little target icon down here, and it'll name it Registration 1. Usually I just keep it, keep the name. If you want to change it, you can do that as well. So if you double click on the registration, it'll bring you into this registration window. And then the first thing you need to do is add in the specific scans that you want to put together. So you can do this by this Add Scan World button. You can also go to Scan World and say Add Scan World. And then here you can expand your folder, and then you'll see all the different scans that you have. This is one case or one example where you might need to use Cyclone Register instead of Register 360, because it allows you to choose the specific scans that you want to use in each registration. So I wouldn't have to register all of these together right at once. So I can move the first 4 over and just do that. In this case, I do want to do all of them, so I'm going to move all of them over and then click OK. You'll now see that all of my scans are in an ungrouped little grouping. So these scans don't have any relation to any of the other scans. They're just out on their own. So the whole Cyclone works by grouping scans together and then grouping the groups together. So eventually you just have a single a single bundle of all your different scans. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have the correct home scan world set. And you see this first, the first setup that we brought in is bolded. So that means it's the home scan world. And at this point, each of the scans, the scanner position is the origin, so that's 0, 0, 0. And then all of the coordinates are based on the coordinate system to where the scanner's position was the origin. When you do a registration, the home scan world will remain in its original coordinate system, and then all of the other scans will be transformed to the home scan world's coordinates. So if you're not working with any coordinates or you're not working with any control, this isn't a big deal. I wouldn't worry about it. But if you are working with control, you're going to want to make sure that your control file is the one that's bold, and it's the home scan world. You can change the home scan world by right-clicking and setting home scan world. I believe there's a button up here for it too. Yeah, right here, set home scan world. All right. So the first thing that you can do is right-click on the ungroup, and you can say create scan world group from auto alignment. So what this will do is we'll go through all of your scans and try to put them together automatically. And this is you can also use Smart Align. I've kind of outlined that in a different video. This is such a small group of scans, it's not going to make much difference. It's going to be pretty quick. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to let that run to see how many of these scans it can put together automatically. Alright, so that just finished up, and you can see that we now have two groups and then ungroups. So you see the first group has 3 scans, the second group has 2, and then the third group another 2 that don't have a relation to anything else. So now I'm going to show you how to put these groups together yourself using visual alignment. So if you go into the visual registration tab up here and you click on 2D scan thumbnails, so now you'll see a bunch of different thumbnails. This is where we checked that box on import create scan thumbnails. So now we can kind of see what's going on in each scan world, and I can see that we now need to create a link between a scan world from one of these groups and then a scan world from some of these ungrouped ones down here. So 53, I know that these were scanned in succession, so I'm going to want to link this one to 52. So what I'm going to do is click on 52, and that's going to highlight it red with a number 1. I'm then going to hold Shift and then click on 53, and then that's going to make it blue with the number 2. And then I'm going to click this button up here, Open in Visual Alignment. So it'll then bring you into a view where you can see both scans. One's going to be orange, one's going to be blue. So it's now up to you to roughly line these 2 scans up. And you can do that by using this Move tool and this Rotation tool. This Rotation tool, wherever you click will be the rotation point. So you click and hold and then drag away from that point to rotate it. To scroll in, you'll have to use this View mode, and to scroll with Cyclone, you'll have to hold down both mouse buttons and drag your mouse up and down. So I have hotkeys set up for this, so it's pretty quick. I need to go in and rotate this a little bit. So I can get these roughly aligned here, and then I can zoom into this fence post, and I can see that these 2 should be right on top of each other. And then when I zoom out, I can see that not everything is quite aligned down here, but I know that this point is perfectly aligned. So what I can do is use my rotation tool, click and hold right on that point, and then I can swing my point cloud right in to line up perfectly, just like that. The next step is to check the orientation in the Z-axis. So if you go into, if you click on this elevation mode, it'll bring you into the Z-axis, and then same thing, you can zoom in, but you're going to be locked just to the Z-axis, and then you can use this Move Point Cloud and the Z-axis tools to kind of line that up, just like that. Once it looks good in the X, Y, and the Z axis, you can hit this button, optimize the constraint between the 2 clouds, and that's what's going to create this best fit. And then it'll give you your error vectors here. If those look good to you, then you can click yes, and then you can see that 53 setup 53 right here was linked to 52, and it's now put in the same group as 52. So the next step is to take care of this 54 down here. This 54 could be constrained with either 53 or 55, or any other scan if there's overlapping overlapping data. So I'm going to click on this one, I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to put this with 55 here. So then I'm going to open that up in Visual Align. Alright, so I have both clouds here, and I can see it's both the backyard. I can rotate it roughly. Alright, so I can see that these two corners are going to go together. So I can line that corner up. If I want to get really precise, I can zoom way in, make sure that's dead on. Then I can zoom out, and I can see that it still has to be rotated, but I know that that point is perfect. So I can use my rotation tool now. I can click and hold right on that point, click and hold and drag away. So now I can rotate the rest of my cloud in until it looks perfect. So that looks really good. Everything looks lined up. So now I'm going to go into my elevation mode, and then I can spin around to see if I can find a couple lines that match up. I can see that this this line right here probably should match up with this the underside of the roof. So I'm going to use my Move Point Cloud and Z tool here, move that up right about there. That looks good, and then it looks good from all directions, so I'm going to say Optimize. Alright, that looks good to me, so I'm going to click Yes, and then it's going to put that cloud into group 2 with 55. So now I have two groups, and all I have to do is connect a scan from group 1 to a scan in group 2. So I can do that. I can connect 53 with 54. I can say open in visual alignment, and now I can see these two clouds. I can roughly orient them like this. And then I know that these two posts should go right on top of each other like that. And then I'm going to zoom out and then use my rotation tool, click right on that point, and then rotate my blue cloud until it matches perfectly with the orange one. So that looks good in the X and Y. I'm going to check the Z really quick. Looks like I can move this up to about there. That looks good, and then I'm going to constrain the two. Alright, that looks good to me. You can click Yes, and then you'll see that all of the scans are put into a single group, and that's our goal. That's what we wanted to do. So you can X out of this window, and you'll see in the registration window all the scans are in a single group here. Alright, now you can go to the constraint list tab, and then you can see that we have a single constraint for each link between two clouds that we have here. So the next step is to go to registration and click register, and this is what will put these clouds together. So then you'll get an error vector for each of these cloud-to-cloud constraints, and then you can evaluate whether these meet the standard that you're going for, depending on the kind of job that you're doing. At this point, everything is you can still edit this. You can change the way these things are constrained. You can change the weight of each constraint. So we want to actually freeze this registration so that you can't change the cloud anymore. So you can see over here in the tree, this is still a registration, but what we're going to do is we're going to freeze this registration and create a scan world. So if you click this Create Scan World Freeze Registration, you'll see that over here it changed from a registration to a scan world. So we can get rid of this, and then if you open up this scan world, you'll still have that registration, but now you'll have a control space and a model space. So if you click on this model space, you'll see up here there's a create model space button. You could name it if you wanted, or you can just say create and open a model space view. So now you can see this full point cloud. I can turn it this color. So you can see this whole house from all the different views. If you want to see the scan worlds, these are all the scan positions. So it's all 7 positions here. So at this point you could do cleaning. You could export this out to CAD or to TrueView, whatever your client is looking for. I hope that gives you a good idea of how to register a project together with Cyclone. Cyclone is a lot less visual than Register 360, but it does offer a lot more flexibility and features for registration that are geared toward a much more advanced user. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Shoot me an email. I'm always happy to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.